देवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So today I'm reading Canto 3, Status Quo, Chapter 14, Pregnancy of Dhriti in the Evening. Text 1. Sukdev Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidura, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord since he did not yet feel satisfied. Text 2. Sri Vidura said, O chief amongst the sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifices, the personality of Godhead, in the form of Lord Boar. Text 3. What was the reason, O Brahmana, for the fight between the demon king and the Lord Boar, who, while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime? Text 4. My mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with the hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. Please, therefore, speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful. Text 5. The great sage Maitreya said, O warrior, the inquiry made by you is just befitting a devotee because it concerns the incarnation of the personality of Godhead. He is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death for all those who are otherwise destined to die. Text 6. By hearing these topics from the sage, Narad, the son of King Uttanpada, whose name was Dhruva, was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of Lord, placing his feet over the head of the death. Text 7. The history of the fight between the Lord as boar and the demon Hiranyaksha was heard by me in a year long ago, as it was described by the foremost of the demigods, Brahma, when he was questioned by the other demigods. Text 8. Dhriti, daughter of Daksha, being afflicted with sex desire, begged her husband Kashyap, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in the order to beget a son. The sun was setting, and the sage was in the trance. After offering the oblation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, whose tongue is the sacrificial fire. Text 10. In the place of beautiful Dhriti, in that place, the beautiful Dhriti expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrow and distressing me forcibly, as a mad elephant troubles a banana tree. Text 11. Therefore, you should be kind towards me by showing me complete mercy. I desire to have a son, and I am much distressed by seeing the opulence of my co-wives By performing this act, you will become happy. Text 12. A woman is honored in the world by the benediction of husband, and a husband like you will become famous by having children because you are meant for an expansion of living entities. Text 13. In days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select our husband. This is the last of my verse. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Kishore Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Prabhu, when are you ready? You can start, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Kishore Prabhuji. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamniti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prasharani Roise Shunyamadi Pashuchadestarani Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Chananda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidyanija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sarirādhari Krupammadittamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, devotees, we are continuing from the previous chapter. The previous chapter, how the Lord Varaha appeared from Brahmaji nostrils and how he fought with Hiranyaksha and he, how he killed and then lifted the earth from the from the ocean and placed in its orbit. All that we have seen. And finally, in the last chapter, Maitreya is describing that how wonderful it is to hear the pastimes of the Lord, and who will not hear except a human being, right? So now in this chapter, the pregnancy of Diti is mentioned here. So Sukha Uvacha, so Sukadeva Goswami is saying that after Maitreya Rishi elaborated the pastimes of Lord Varaha, now Vidura, who has taken a vow, he begged again Maitreya Rishi to further elaborate the transcendental pastimes. And it says here that Dhruta Vrataha, so he has taken a vow, and Ati Truptaha, so he's he's very much satisfied, but he wanted to hear more and more. He's not very much satisfied. He wants to drink the nectar, Lord's pastimes more and more. So he's begging with the folded hands. So this is again a sign of very, very elevated devotee, that Vidura has such a taste that he is begging Maitreya Rishi here. And Vidura was saying, Vidura Uvacha, he is also, Vidura was saying that I have heard that in the past there is another Hiranyakashipu in the same Hiranyakashipu in a different Manu's period was slain by the same Lord Varaha. And so he is also giving some hints about what can be described, what kind of pastimes can be described. So Vidura is kind of putting forward these pastimes so Maitreya Rishi can elaborate on these pastimes. So Swayambhu Manu's period, we have seen the previous chapter, Lord Varaha appeared and then he lifted the earth, and then again one more Manu's period, Chaksusha Manu. In that Manu also, Lord Varaha appeared and then he slayed Hiranyaksha, it seems. So he assumed white color, and then in the Chaksusha millennium, he has assumed color red. So Vidura was asking further elaboration on those pastimes. And Krishna also, it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that Krishna appears in different color, Sukta, Pita, red, white and yellow. So when Krishna's Namakarna was happened, that time it was revealed to Nanda Maharaj that, so your son is not ordinary. He has appeared in many millenniums. So like that. So then now Vidura was questioning a particular aspect of the pastime. Like he's saying, what was the reason for the enmity between that Hiranyaksha and Varahamurti? So while the Lord was lifting the earth, why was there enmity? What happened before? So all that now he's kind of questioning. Daitya Rajashya Cha Brahman. So Daityas, Hiranyaksha was in the lineage of Daityas, and then they why is there enmity? So he was asking that question, and finally here concluding, Vidura is concluding that Shraddha Dhanaya Bhaktaya. So he's saying, so I'm very faithful to you. My mind is very inquisitive. So please, since I'm not Trupyati Manaha, so my mind is not satisfied. Now, please elaborate all these topics of the Lord's appearance. And then, so he's saying, Maitreya Rishi, again, he's requesting one more time. And he's saying, Bruhitaj Janma Vistaram. So he's asking not like a shallow, like highlights, but he's saying in detail. I want everything in detail, pastime. So now Prabhupada makes a point that for hearing the pastimes of the Lord, this is the qualification. So one should be very, very faithful and inquisitive, and then he can actually hear the pastimes of Lord's appearance and disappearance. And Vidura was a perfect candidate to receive such transcendental messages. So in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So that sage who has seen the truth, he will reveal the truth only if the person who is very inquisitive and he has a submissive mood and he renders service. So because this is a transcendental knowledge you cannot receive by any exchange of material things. Just like in this material world, we pay money for everything, but the transcendental topics cannot be obtained with any material things. So it has to be obtained by our own faithful service and submission. So now Maitreya Uvacha, Maitreya is now continuing, and he's also glorifying Vidura before he's elaborating the Lord's pastimes. And he's glorifying with several specific points. He's saying Lord's pastimes are, it can relieve you from Mrityu Pasa. Mrityu Pasa is like the chain of birth and death. And it also is Vishathanim. So it is the source of liberation. So your inquiry is very, very appropriate. So that Lord's Hari, Avatara Katam Harir. So this is your inquiry is very appropriate because of these reasons. And now Prabhupada is making very specific points that Vidura is not only is from a Varnashrama perspective, he is also a Kshatriya. So from a Kshatriya spirit, so he is interested in Lord's very valiant pastimes, Lord's pastimes, fighting and with the Daityas and all that. So this is, but still it is not mundane, it is transcendental. So his desire is very, very appropriate and perfect. So like Lord Narsimha, Varaha, they had their pastimes a very chivalrous pastime, like they fight with the Daityas And these are so Vidura has a specific taste for such pastimes, and he wants to he's not concerned about this like a mundane war, but he's concerned about the ultimate benefit of the human life, which is going beyond the chain of birth and death. So that is the point that Prabhupada is making. And also he's making that Lord's pastimes in the war like Kurukshetra war, and then Hiranyaksha and Varaha, Hiranyakashipu and Lord Narsimadev. So all these pastimes, or even though Lord is not, exchanging loving affairs with the devotees, he's exchanging the chivalrous activities with Daityas. Still, these pastimes have the same effect. It has the same effect of delivering one from the birth and death. So there is no difference in terms of different pastimes of the Lord. So that particular point we should understand. So now Maitreyi is saying, so he by hearing these pastimes from Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj was also enlightened, and Dhruva Maharaj, he ascended to the abode of the Lord. And so Dhruva Maharaj actually places his feet on the death personified. So when he is leaving the spiritual world, he just places his feet on the death personified, and then he ascends to the spiritual world in this special plane. So that particular aspect is mentioned here. So, and then this history, Maitreyi Rishi is saying that I have heard this history when Brahmaji was telling, when Brahmaji was questioned, he elaborately described this history between Varaha and Hiranyakashipu on the different Chakshusha Manu. So now same history he is going to elaborate now, Maitreyi Rishi. So now Maitreya is giving the background here about Diti. So Daksha had 14 daughters. Out of the 14 daughters, 13 daughters were married to sage Kashyapa Muni. So Kashyapa Muni is again a son of Marichi. So he married 13 daughters. So from Aditi, all of the demigods, they actually were born. So here Diti was mentioned. So Diti, all of the Daityas or Asuras were born. So now, the pastime of how these Daityas were born, that pastime he's elaborating now. So what happened was one day when Kashyapa was engaged in a trance in the evening time, and the evening time is like generally Brahmanas, they do Trisandhya, like they do morning, afternoon, and the evening when the sun is setting. So Kashyapa was engaged in that trance. Now Diti, afflicted by the sex desire, now she has this desire to get a child, because all of her sisters now have children. Now she's feeling that she's left alone. No, she doesn't. As a woman, children are very important for women. So now she had that desire, and she's also afflicted by this sex desire. Now she is approaching Kashyapa, and Kashyapa was in a trance, and he was worshipping the Supreme Lord by offering sacrifices in the fire sacrifice. So again, the fire sacrifice is considered like a tongue of the Supreme Lord. Fire sacrifice, like if you look at the Brahmanas offer ghee and offer grains, all of that in fire, which is accepted by the Supreme Lord as a offering, he accepts it. So the fire is considered like a mouth. So now, so at that time, so the Diti was, it was mentioned that she was attacked by Cupid. Rambam iva Manthagajaha. So she was attacked by Cupid, just like a mad elephant is attacking a banana tree. You know, she was helpless. She was completely being forced by the desire, and she is. And so by now she's approaching her husband, and she's expressing her desire to have children. So, so Prabhupada makes a point that it's a duty of husband to give all protection by fulfilling her desire. So he's saying Kashyapa Muni, as a dutiful husband, is supposed to fulfill a desire, and she's finally concluding that, therefore, please, be merciful and kind to me. And she's expressing her desire of having sons, because all of the sisters, the co-wives of Kashyapa, like Diti, they all have children. So that was the reason she gives. So here it's mentioned that Badram. So she's saying all prosperity will come, by if you perform this act, and then you will satisfy my desire. So Prabhupada makes a point that sexual intercourse for begetting appropriate children is a dharmic activity. And the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, so here Diti is appealing to her husband for having desired, for having good sons. So, but she does not know that she's approaching at the wrong time, in the evening time, when the sacrifices is happening for the Lord. And she's also saying that Bhartari apta urumanam lokan avishyate yashaha, like fame. So the woman, the husband like you will become famous by having good children. So she's saying appropriate thing here, like good children are gives a lot of fame to parents. Like there are many devotee children in this world, their parents are well known to everybody. So similarly, Diti is mentioning that so if you have a good children, then your fame will be spread all over the planet. And also she is saying a woman is honored by the benediction of her husband. So she's also saying the duty of duty of husband is to give benedictions to woman, whatever her desires are. So now Prabhupada also makes a point here that how Rishabhadev Maharaj was teaching all his 100 sons, Bharat Maharaj and all the 100 sons. He is giving specific instructions on the in this fruitility of chasing after sense gratification in the life. And Rishabhadev Maharaj teaches their sons to perfect themselves in bhakti and enjoy the Brahma Saukyam to Anantam, enjoy the unlimited happiness in the association of the Lord. And human life is very, very rare, so we should not waste such a human life. So like any parents, like here Aditi was about to she's desiring to have sons. So Prabhupada is making point that any parents who desire to have children, they should also make it a point that that children will be raised as a very good children, and they can actually obtain the goal of life, which is crossing over this the cycle of birth and death, and attain the liberation. So now Diti is also pointing out how her father, he gave them an option. So Diti spontaneously selected Kashyapa as their husband, not by arranged, like it was her decision. that she selected Kashyapa as her husband, along with all of the other daughters also. So it seems like Daksha gave an option for the daughters to choose husband on their according to their selection. So they all selected Kashyapa Muni. So now she's making a point that we accepted you as our husband out of our own accord. Now it is your duty to fulfill our desire like that. So Prabhupada also makes a point that like Vedic culture is not very conservative. It is like they give freedom for the bride to choose their husband, and of course father's decision is the ultimate decision, but still they give freedom for the daughter to choose their husband. And finally the verse number 14. So Daksha, she's saying that the Daksha got all of their intentions to marry Kashyapa, and he handed over 13 of the daughters to Kashyapa Muni. So, and also she makes a point that Yaste Shilam Anuvrataha. So they were all very faithful to Kashyapa Muni since then. So Diti is trying to please make all the points, appropriate points, so that Kashyapa Muni will satisfy her desire. And she's all giving all these reasons, like from Shastra and also from their own heart. They are very faithful to Kashyapa Muni and all that. So now Prabhupada also makes a point that when daughters were given a choice to choose their would-be husband, they were not, they were very shy. They cannot convey directly to the father. So what they will do, they'll normally convey this message through grandmother, so that their desire is conveyed to the father. So Daksha also collected all of the daughters' opinion, and he handed over 13 daughters to Kashyapa Muni. So, and also all of the other sisters, as I mentioned, they already have children. So obviously Diti is feeling left out, and she is requesting her husband now. Yeah, so this concludes today's verse number 14. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let's offer our obeisances. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Rupada ki jai, and obeisance to all the devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the nice class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.